It's Saturday night, and you're wondering, well, what should I do? Should I watch Full Gear? Should I watch college football? Should I get ready for Survivor Series next week, even UFC? Forget all about that because we have what the people want, the true foundation of XCW. That's right, our reigning, defending XCW tag team champions who have been a huge part of things over the past few months. You've seen him battle with a number of teams such as Unholy and another team we're going to get to is going to be challenging the guys here coming up at the final chapter, our last XCW show of the year. And these guys may need no further introduction, but because they're here and they're champions, and it's the first time they're here together, and we're even going to talk about their past, we're going to talk about a couple of different things that they're up for in a vote. And I might even opine on an opinion on how I voted on not one, but two of those things. But as I stated, because they're champions and it's Saturday night, we're in prime time and we're getting ready for the final shows of XCW this year. Let's give the people what they want. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, the reigning, defending XCW tag team champions. They call them the real ones, the essential one, Rob Slater, and the first real wrestler, Parsley's Justin Parsley. The champs are here.
Thank you for that introduction, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely. Listen, Mr. Parsley, you're no stranger, but obviously we had Rob here. We want to make sure that we get that intro, especially Saturday night here, prime time, XCW, especially after what Fletch said in the Halloween Harvest press conference about us here post-show, and we certainly wanted to make sure that we pumped you guys up. But obviously, there's a lot to talk about with you here, guys, because you guys are a part of a number of different things here in XCW. And let's talk about first in the next team that you're going to face for your championships here. And you've said a lot about them. And now one of those combatants that you're going to see at the final chapter here in a few weeks, Julian Void Jacobs, last night on Rundown said a lot about you guys. I give you guys now the opportunity to set the tables for us for what we can expect coming up final chapter. The real ones defending your tag team championships against Mitchell Maverick and Julian Void Jacobs.
You want to start?
Oh, you can go ahead.
Well. I get to talk on Sportzwire? No way. Get out of here. Mitchell Maverick. He's kind of new to me, and he hasn't really said a lot, so I guess I don't really have a rebuttal for him. But Julian Void Jacobs, I will say that at the start of this season, my first singles match back, I've already beaten Julian Void Jacobs. So we can do this again. We can have a sequel. You like the first real wrestler, you like the reels. We can do a sequel to that reel.
We like sequels. Sequels
and
are
we'll
good.
see that things often history tends to repeat itself.
But he's kind of made this in a way personal a bit. Obviously he talked about you guys. We've seen him basically try almost in a way to become a member of EBW. This has been going on almost kind of at the same time you guys have been champions. And now he basically said on the air on Rundown yesterday that basically he's got himself, so they should take the titles from you guys, no problem. I mean, the essential one, Rob Slater, how do you feel about some of those comments there?
Well, like you said, EBW hopefuls, like I've called them, the EBW rejects.
You have said that a lot. No question. You
You know,
have
they
certainly said
try
that.
to get into EBW, they won't let them in. Like, I mean, I could see why, but I mean, they can say all they want to. Like when it comes to taking the titles, saying it and doing it are two separate things.
Yeah, for sure.
True, no question about that. They did get a huge victory though
They
against
did.
Unholy, which obviously
Yeah.
you guys have had your issues with. But I have to go back to you, Mr. Parsley, before I get to comments. Do you feel it is personal, especially after what Mr. Jacobs was sort of bizarrely attempting to do to Mandy weeks back? I mean, that was kind of a bizarre situation there. I mean, it's got to be a little bit personal there, and even after what they did to you at High Stakes, attacking you guys after your match. I mean, in a way, there's got to be some personal bad blood there a bit, no?
No, absolutely, absolutely. There's personal bad blood. I don't like Void anywhere near Mandy. I think I showed that backstage and stuff as well.
You did. You did.
Yeah, yeah. I think Void is trying to. He is kind of a real Void because he's trying to find his place in all these different groups like EBW. Maybe he's working with Unholy, possessing her. I don't know exactly what's going on. Mandy is. She's went through a little bit of therapy and she's been in and out of the hospital, but the baby's doing
I know
doing
getting
fine.
blood dumped on you can do that. Yes, getting blood
Yeah.
dumped on you can definitely do that.
Yeah. So we are good, but I think Boy's just trying to find his place in life, and I know it's not in the ring with Justin Parsley, and I think he does too.
So do you feel like then, guys, obviously you guys have had a lot of experience. We'll get into kind of your foundation, we may say, in terms of how you've known each other and what's led to this moment. But do you feel like in a way that these guys are not only A, trying to make a name off you guys, but B, maybe show EBW and certainly Chris Jones, a guy you know very well, both of you, that what they need because they've had their struggles. I mean, listen, Brady Branson lost the title to ACT. That's obviously, we'll certainly let him handle that. Hayden Vex and James Cerebral just fought each other. Miano Diaz lost the EBW title to Brogan O'Shea. We had Brogan here on Sportswire a few weeks ago. I mean, so right now, EBW is not in the spot that they were, let's say, 5-6 weeks ago. So do you feel like, in a way, two-part question, A, they're trying to make a name off you guys, and then B, kind of show Chris Jones and certainly Luke Blaze that they are EBW material after all?
I mean, maybe that's what they're doing. I don't really know what's going on in their head.
I get the trying to make a name, off of us. But I mean, I can see, why they haven't been in EBW, why Chris hasn't let them in. All the members of EBW.
They wore first of all, they wore the wrong shirts. I mean,
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, that was months ago. They wore the wrong shirts. I mean, at least get the right shirt on. I think even Chris Jones did. I like Chris a lot. I even think even Chris looked at it like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to Maverick and Void, I mean, they get my respect. At least they're trying to prove something. You see, all the members of EBW, they were handpicked. Not one of them had to prove anything. Maybe that's why they're not in EBW. They weren't handpicked. They're proving themselves. Maybe they're better than EBW.
Well, I mean, we'll certainly find out, and I promise I'll get to comments here in a second. But I guess I have to ask the obvious question, since you guys have been champions, I think just about 2 months or so, give or take, just around the 2-month mark. Yeah. I mean, I always ask this question to champions here on Sportswire. What does it mean to you guys to actually be the XCW Tag Team Champions?
Well, let's do a quick history rundown of who was one half of the first ever XCW Tag Team Champions. A little bit of trivia. Do you know who it was? Either half?
Yes, Kurt Acid.
Kurt Acid, that's right. So it's all about Kurt Acid. It's all about Benji.
Yep.
I mean, that's what brought me back. That's what
we spoke about that here with you on the show and Fletch the first time he came on. No question about that.
Absolutely, yeah. So his legacy, I mean, he made a profound impact on my life, and so to be able to hold the same title he held first, that means the world to me. Like, it's just on a whole different level, right? So that's absolutely what this run's about to me, and that's why I'm not gonna lay down for Void or Mitchell Maverick. I don't know. I can't speak for this man, Rob.
I mean, talking about history, we go back, we go ways back. We've been on the same side. We've been on opposite sides of the fence. We've had our battles. We've been through battles together.
Literally on both sides of the fence.
But one thing we've never been in our 20-year plus history is tag champions. anywhere.
And, is it a little special or a little more special? I should phrase it that way, in the fact that your first championships for both of you guys in XCW are the tag team titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it makes it more meaningful. Like on the last time you had me on the show, I don't even think I had named like world title. I named these different championships that would mean something. I had never even thought the tag team championship, and I definitely did not think it would be with Rob Slater out of all people.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of been, Justin, kind of been your run in XCW. It's kind of maybe in some ways unlikely, but it's kind of all lined up, almost like the old adage, the stars align.
Yeah.
And it's kind of aligned here. And I want to go back to Kurt Acid one more time, because Rude Awakening several weeks ago, we were talking about this off the air, and you guys, as a tribute before the 6-person match against Unholy, you came out to Kurt Acid's music. Can you talk about what led to that, and why did you guys decide to do that?
Let's just shoot right now. So I was working on a production. I was working on a production of meshing our songs.
All right, let's hope Fletch doesn't get mad on this.
Yeah,
last time I spoke to Fletch, Fletch was kind of like not in the greatest of moods. So
okay, well, I'm gonna shoot with you anyway. So
all right.
So I'm trying to get our songs to mesh and like match up right, and so I ended up going with what you hear now, which is like Man in the Box, Into Thick and stuff. But
yeah,
that show I had recorded, like I recorded with my phone, like above a laptop, and so when you played it over the speakers, it was god awful. So we just came up with the idea to call an audible, and I think he's the one that came up with it, to come out to Genocide's music, and I'm like, brilliant, yeah, that'll be like how we state this title runs for him without saying it right now.
Yeah, I think that's why I wanted to talk about it, because originally I know we were speaking about it, and I kind of felt like it was kind of the right thing, especially I know for even both of you guys how much Kurt Acid meant, and even guys that we've had on that have been in XCW for a long time, like a Corey Lee, certainly Chris Jones, Fletch. I felt like we had to at least talk about it here. Let me get to some comments here. Michael Blackheart, our buddy, says, Justin, I'm wearing your shirt tomorrow at work. Well, you definitely, you were a cool guy. Michael always messages me. Michael's always talking about Sportswire, how much he cannot wait for me to talk XCW here on Sportswire. So I appreciate that. Love you, bro. Yep, he's a good dude. He's a good dude here. Real ones have no real competition.
Interesting. I see what he did there.
Well, he said that, but then, a couple of different people here, they are tuned in, and you might have heard of these guys. One of them is a guy, Omen Black, who certainly is a guy that has been, it's his show here technically on Sportswire, and he's a part of a company called the IMF, which you probably have heard of by now. They have a big following too, just like XCW. They have a big show actually coming up, and we might have an announcement for that here. And he says, no competition, that's debatable, but then he says, EBW is below XCW. Well, he's talking about, I could certainly understand where you're coming from in that. But another individual here you probably heard of, named Soldier GP, also from a group called The Foundation in the IMF, gives the eyeballs there. So I'll certainly leave those individuals there for the time being. But
I feel like maybe they're laying some groundwork there. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that.
What? I mean, listen, obviously we know the guys very well. I'll have an announcement in a little while pertaining to Mr. Black and Mr. Soldier GP. You might actually want to stay tuned for that, but leave that all aside. I mean, you guys have battled Unholy for quite a bit. Unholy now has had their issues now. They have some big issues now, and now you're moving on here. So do you feel now that everything with Unholy, that's all put to bed now? I mean, I know you especially, Mr. Parsley, had some big issues there with them, especially with Mandy. But do you guys feel like now that we're kind of past Unholy going forward into final chapter?
I'm telling you that I've used the cream, and DJ Wolbert will know. He will not go away. He is attached to me for life, I think. I don't know. I think I picked the wrong guy whenever I showed up to help me.
And by the way, I have to bring this up because it's the move that almost everybody's seen on the XCW YouTube page, which I'll plug in a second. That swanton off the top rope. You correctly, by the way, Mr. Parsley, got out of that. Every hit with that, including you, Mr. Slater, and you and DJ have been intertwined quite a bit. I think there was 2 moves he did in 2 separate matches that they basically went viral and got thousands of views. So yeah, I almost feel like you guys in a way were intertwined between you, Rob, and Unholy, then obviously you and DJ. So it's almost like maybe it is time you guys should finally put to bed Unholy.
I hope so, because I mean, you said viral, you said we talked about permanent. I think DJ Wartburg might be right at this point. He's not going away.
You want to add anything, Rob? Anything you want to add about Unholy? Because you
Uh,
definitely had your problems with them for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they. I guess what's the term they use? Never say never. I mean, I hope we're done with them, but they could somehow come back around. Maybe they could regroup. Reform. Like, I mean, ever since we aligned and teamed up, it seems like Unholy's just starting to.
Yeah,
crumble.
I mean, we obviously saw Shane Shaw left them, and
Yeah.
and obviously we see the problems there. They've lost the goal. They're trying to figure out where they go. Obviously, Jaden Tucker's a guy that's had some success, and he's kind of struggled a bit also. And you wonder what happens there. Do the guys go and focus on singles runs? DJ, obviously, Justin, you've had your issues with. You've had plenty of matches with him, so you know these guys very well. But, let me ask you this question in a way, and I have more comments, and I'll get to them shortly. But, obviously, we've talked a lot about EBW and XCW. Spoke a lot about this with your cousin, Corey Lee, Justin. We spoke a lot about this with ACT. Brogan O'Shea had a lot to say. But then conversely, we had Chris Jones, who's obviously is EBW. And I was kind of curious for the audience, especially for the XCW Galaxy, the people that are in XCW. You guys aren't EBW, but I don't necessarily say you're sympathetic to what Fletch and everybody else in Venom have dealt with in this kind of war here between EBW and XCW. I mean, what's your thoughts on all this and kind of how this is all going down?
I mean, as of now, we have no loyalty other than to each other. We don't stand with EBW. We don't stand with XCW. Hey, EBW and XCW, that's between them. If they want to come at us like the EBW hopefuls, like the rejects, they want to come at us. Okay, but right now there's no loyalty. Until we're absolutely forced with the decision to pick a side, we're gonna just hang back.
Yeah, but if you're into labels, like if you need a label, like if you're one of those people that just has to have one of those attached to us, I think that we represent the XCW Tag Team Championship, the Tag Team Division, extremely well. I think this is a company that, once again, Benji Kurt Acid co-founded, and he started out this tag title run, and I think that we're making solid on his name in that XCW Tag Team Division.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And I'll take this in a more general way as we're speaking here with the real ones, the XCW Tag Team Champions, Justin Parsley. Parsley's in the essential one, Rob Slater. If you like what you hear from XCW, please give XCW out there a follow on YouTube at XCW Shelbyville. Also, XCW All Access. Instagram, XCW_Shelbyville. Twitter, XC Wrestling One. Also on Facebook, XCW Shelbyville. Please support XCW. This is the gold standard. This is the gold standard, in my opinion, of wrestling right now. This is a company that week after week after week puts out great show after great show. You see all the different shows, and these guys are the tag team champions. And, I think when I look at the tag team division in XCW, it's cliche, guys. A lot of times people say, well, our company has these great tag teams. Our company has the best tag team division. But XCW really, by far, has, I would say, at the top of the list in companies in terms of tag teams, and you guys are the champions. I mean, this division is as deep. We just spoke about Unholy. We spoke about whatever you want to call the EBW rejects, hopefuls. I mean, we've got a slew of teams in XCW that could all hold gold. I mean, talk about being at the top of the mountain here in this tag team division.
Start in.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it's been weird, right? Like the tag team division's been kind of weird over the past year, like the 2 seasons that I've been there. Like teams form, they disband, they're here, they're gone. The tag titles hop around a lot. I think that we're bringing prestige and esteem back to the tag team titles and the tag team division. And I hope that's what we can do. Like in the name of Benji, sure. But I hope that whenever we're on screen and people are watching us, that's what we're doing is just, I'd kind of like to see those guys in the main event, I mean, that's
yeah, and you know what? I definitely agree too, because I think that the tag team division XCW is as deep as it is. I mean, we've even seen teams like one of our more recent XCW guests, XCW New Age champion Eric Mason was with Hunter Halkett. Now that whole situation's kind of gone into a totally different direction. Like you said, teams kind of come and go here. I mean, you had ACT was the tag team champion at the beginning of the year. I mean, so you just never know here in XCW. So you guys have been consistent. But let me get to some more comments. I want to say hello to my guest yesterday, who unfortunately had some technical difficulties, Mr. Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast in Australia. He is up right now at 12:44 p.m. tomorrow their time. I finally got the time right. Yep, he's up there at 12:44.
Good afternoon.
Michael says DJ Walmart is kind of creepy, but he's got a question. I'm going to actually let you guys answer here. What's the one thing you want to be remembered for in wrestling, not just XCW?
You mean start?
Yeah, good.
I want to be my kid's favorite wrestler. I mean, that's it. I don't care who remembers me beyond that. I want to be my kid's favorite wrestler, and I think that I am when I'm out there. So that's pretty rewarding in and of itself.
How about for you, Rob?
Well, I mean, one of the reasons that I came back to XCW, I mean, not only was it because of Benji, but my son, he's into wrestling. He watches it, and you know, I told him, I was like, hey, your dad used to do this, and I showed him videos back in the day. I finally came to a show, and now, I mean, it's another way for me to bond with my son, and that's something, you know, it's hard to find, something you don't get.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Rob, because obviously we had Justin on about 3 or 4 months ago, and we know his story in XCW, that it was kind of almost a what if up until the last year or two in terms of him being a staple in the company. But you've had kind of a slightly different journey in a way, but it's similar in many other ways. Do you feel like you have what ifs when it comes to your career at all?
Yeah. There's definitely some what ifs. When I first got into the business and started out, I was with, you know, Justin over here and his federation, and then, you know, Fletch, me and him, we grew up. We've known each other since we were little. Used to live right next door to each other in an apartment complex. Used to go over there, play with the figurines, and you know, got to know Benji, and Benji had me come to one of the shows. I got involved with XCW. My last match in XCW, I think, was 2005. SummerMania 2, I lost to Chris Jones.
What a surprise. What a surprise. Why do I feel like everything in a way?
Yeah. Just boils right back, you know, comes back around to EBW and Chris Jones again. So, I mean, there's what ifs that, you know, what if I had stayed? Like, you know, how big would my name be in XCW? And, I mean, ultimately, like I said, you know, 2005, it's been 17 years that I'm still waiting to get my rematch with Chris.
Well, I mean, I guess that's something we'll have to stay tuned for. But you did have I guess a stint in XCW, but it was 17 years. I mean, was there ever? How can I put it? I ask this sometimes to athletes who are away for a long time. I've had a couple instances like this. Was there ever kind of like a period where you said, you know what, I'm never coming back. It's just my career. I'm at peace with it. Was there ever that kind of period?
I mean, it wasn't so much of that. It's, I mean, back then, like, you know, going from XCW to, you know, Justin's company at the time, BYWE, which eventually turned into BYW. It was about loyalty, and I mean, you know, my loyalty was with him, and I followed him, and like, you know, the history between him and Fletch, they weren't getting along. They were always butting heads, and I mean, I decided, hey, you know, I'm gonna stick with him, stick by his side, like, you know, where you go, I go.
Well, you know what? It's worked out so far. I mean, you guys have the gold, and there's certainly nobody right now that can take that away from you. Michael wants to say, same thing I want for my kids to have a daddy to be proud of, and also want to give a big shout out to his father-in-law, Festus Davis. I want to say hello to Festus. And Mr. Black here says the foundation will last forever. That may be
Nothing lasts forever.
But you know what? I was wondering about your foundation together, because you know, we know a lot about Fletch and Chris Jones and Justin Parsley and Chris Jones and Corey Lee. But I was wondering how it all unfolded with you guys and how you guys became friends and led to where we are now. And you guys are the foundation of tag teams in XCW. I was curious for those that might be listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio.
It's the foundation of our friendship. Of our.
Well,
I was wondering about that.
It basically began with wrestling.
Yeah.
Like we met when we were just, little ones, and
What were we, like 14 probably?
Yeah, 14 still doing the backyard on the ground. We
we've seen the footage. We've seen the footage.
And it's like I said, we've been on the same side before. We've been on opposite sides of the fence, but we stuck together. Eventually, we find our way back to one another, I guess I should say. And when we're together, we're unstoppable. Can't.
It's an unmatched chemistry. It's like the chemistry that we have in the ring as opponents, or even as a tag team. I've found. I think that there's just this certain energy that flows through us. And thankfully, we've always had wrestling, women, and football that we've had in common. So yeah.
Those are some pretty good. Those are some pretty good trios to have in common with anything, right? Women, football, wrestling. Sounds like you guys should be friends then, right?
Yeah, I think so. Best friends, right? Maybe, I don't know.
I would certainly not disagree with that or argue about that whatsoever. And again, when you think about, I guess, everything that you're doing here in XCW, and I want to talk about it then. So let's talk about this here, because obviously Fletch spoke about it, and we know that there's going to be a Viewers' Choice Awards upcoming, and I was wondering about this, and, if you guys want to actually campaign or maybe talk about this here, because, we are going to probably have another segment before the vote takes place, and stay tuned for details during the week on Sportswire. Actually, if I could make the announcement here, I would, but we have to tentatively say, waiting. We want to make sure it's kosher enough, and we make sure we have the time and date ready. But, obviously it's documented that you guys are in a couple of different votes here when it comes to maybe some awards that you could possibly win. And I was wondering, especially for the XCW Galaxy, would you want to win a few of those things? I think about, first of all, in tag team, you guys are the current tag team champions. So, do you guys want to maybe opine on that, campaign even, talk about whatever's on your mind when it comes to this?
It'd be nice to win, tag team, champions of the year. But yeah, we've been champs, a little over 2 months, but there's some teams on that list that, they've done like,
maybe they win it one week and then lose it the next, and then win it back or whatever.
There's some teams on that list. Like, I'll be honest with you. I was just watching XCW before I even came. I was a huge fan of the Anarchy. They're a team on that list.
Absolutely.
Like they did some impressive things together, and then their friendship kind of crumbled, and they had their match at Summer Mania last year. But it'd be nice to win, but you can't win them all.
Okay, wait. All right, time out. I'm glad I brought this up because I knew I had something here. You're the essential one, Rob Slater.
Yeah.
You're the guy that is almost has been described on TV. I think Blackheart said it. You're like 10'6". You have arguably the best RKO in the business. You're telling me, Rob Slater, that you wouldn't want to win an award and prove all the doubters? You wouldn't want to win something here and kind of show people that you guys are the real ones, no pun intended.
Yeah,
he thinks you have doubters, bro.
Winning awards are nice, but actually proving yourself is different.
We do that every time.
If I lose, like if we don't win, tag team champions of the year, that's just more motivation for next year to go out and put on better matches. And so, it'd be nice to win, like boost that ego. But even if we don't,
I think some things like the tag team title, like the tag team of the year, we are almost a shoe-in for. It feels right now because of the run that we're having. This is just incredible. We're on top of the world right now. So I won a few awards last year, so I know it does feel redeeming and really good, and I look forward to winning more this year.
Well, I have actually, you know what? Because it is my show, and actually Fletch did promote us on Sportswire. I am actually going to say it that I'm going to actually disclose my vote. I know they say you shouldn't tell people who you vote for in life, but spoiler alert, breaking the fourth wall here, basically shooting. I voted for you guys to win the award. I
appreciate that.
I'm going to tell you why. This is not because you're just on the show. It's because I think about the last 2 months. I think about the story. I think about what you guys have accomplished, kind of the journey to get there. I think of kind of the different situations that you're in. I think about, and also the fact that you guys correctly pointed out, is that the tag team division, while stacked and very deep in XCW, it's kind of had no uniformity. You guys have had that collective uniformity that's in a way almost kind of stamped the tag division. And I think based on those merits, I think that you guys should get the award.
Thank you very much for that. First of all, it's almost an endorsement of sorts. So.
Well, I do. Listen, and I always say my line here when it comes to XCW, endorsements are not given here on Sportswire. They are earned. This one is earned. This one, I do. Yes, and if Fletch even basically kind of quoted me on a couple different things, and even Chris Jones has mentioned me on the show. So that's what I want to put out there. So I will say that, and I've got comments here in a second. I'll get to them, but I want to go over to the second thing, and that's this XCW Hall of Fame, which everybody talks about. We know there's a who's who of people that have been in the XCW Hall of Fame. Now, I was wondering, Justin Parsley, you've certainly been Mr. Parsley's. You have been the first reel. You're the guy that gets the views. You're the guy that gets the social media reactions. You're the guy that does all these different things. You're even the short clips we see, they go viral when you're out. Those are
my reels, baby. Yeah,
you even get sponsors for XCW. I mean, let's think about that for a second. So I got to put it out there. Now, I know you guys say, awards. We don't really care. We don't want our flowers. We just go out there. We want to go and basically keep the gold, do what we do. And it's not about the fans, not about all this stuff. But I still think you'd be lying if you both aren't thinking about it. And I think here in this particular case for you, Justin Parsley, Hall of Fame, XCW, you're in the running for it. What do you have a thought or two on it?
You mentioned me getting my flowers. My mom was a fan of daisies, so if you're gonna start, I'll take my flowers.
Unfortunately, I don't really know much about flowers, which is probably a mistake on my part, but I'll certainly look them up after we're off the air.
I would gladly take my flowers. I feel like even though I haven't put in the amount of time that everyone else has within this company, I think it's just a mutual respect thing between Fletch and I that we kind of started backyard wrestling, maybe in Indiana. I don't know, whatever we do, semi-pro, whatever it's called.
But you know what, though? But I'm going to cut you off there slightly as we're talking again here with Justin Parsley and Rob. So here's what I'm going to tell you why I'm going to cut off. Because a Hall of Fame is not about a stat compiler. A Hall of Fame, we talk about this in sports all the time. A Hall of Fame is not about somebody that plays or wrestles for 20 plus years. And, maybe they do this or that, but in terms of what their presence was or their impact, it didn't quite live up to the standards of a Hall of Fame. They might be very good. You've been correct. You've been in XCW only a short amount of time, but look at your presence in XCW. Look at the matches that you've had. Look at the gold. Look at the social media earned engagements that you have. You could very much make the case, Justin Parsley, Mr. Parsley's, that you are very deserving of being in the XCW Hall of Fame because the Hall of Fame is about those who make an impact. It doesn't matter whether if it was in 2 years or 200 years.
Well, thank you very much for that. If I can't make the case, you just did. So that's that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here.
That's your argument.
I appreciate you. Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what, then? I guess I should probably do it here on Sportswire Radio once again because, again, we're revealing votes. We're basically going on the fourth wall here. We're shooting. Justin Parsley, Mr. Parsley's, I voted for you to be in the XCW Hall of Fame. I basically made my case on the air that very well you should be in the Hall of Fame based on those merits. And you know what? I'm actually going to go further here because I always have something up my sleeve here on Sportswire Radio. And if you don't win the vote in the Viewers' Choice Awards, although I have a feeling you will, because I'm sure that you got a lot of supporters out there. You got a lot of it reach in XCW and especially the XCW Galaxy, whether you may admit it or not. In Sportswire Radio, we've actually formally, because we have a new website now, by the way, sportswireradio.org, cheap plug. we have a new website, and we've actually gone on and started our own Hall of Fame, because at this point I'm doing it 5 years. I've had on countless different people, whether it's been in the sports world, the wrestling world, even in the newsroom, and all these different things that I've done, right? And we've said, you know what, I've actually had on, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 700 people. I should start a Hall of Fame. So you know what, Justin Parsley? I'm actually going to go right here on the record as the host of the Sports Report, your voice of all wrestling, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the Reverend Tom Bryce, yours truly, Justin Parsley. I'm going to induct you into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So if Fletch doesn't get it right, I'm going to induct you, because I know what's best for business.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, Tom.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Definitely, we'll have a formal spot. We'll even put both you guys on it, just to kind of do it, because you are the champions, and we'll make that happen. And I want to also say, Rob Slater, you're right up there in the comeback discussion. You're certainly right there. I mean, you're right there. So I want to make sure that we mention that as well here. But
we had a lot of crazy comebacks this year, though. We had Chris Jones. I mean, we just had a
Listen, Leon Lux is right there also. I can't. There's the comeback one's a little tougher. The comeback one is a little bit tougher in XCW, but the Hall of Fame to me, that seems to me as if that's a no-brainer. That's just the one I'm going with here. But let me get to a couple comments. Want to say hello to my buddy Ron out there. Also, Soldier GP says the award show is rigged. Tag team of the year in every wrestling company would be the Foundation. Well, but aren't you guys, though? Well, actually, isn't that a trick question? Because aren't you guys the Foundation of XCW? So wouldn't that be you guys being the team of XCW?
I think maybe we're going to get them for gimmick infringement, I think, is what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Oh, man.
So I guess basically he finished the sentence here, and Omen Black actually does want to congratulate you, because it is Omen's show. And I'll have an announcement here in a little while about Omen Black and Soldier GP. You might actually want to stay tuned for here. But if you actually want to follow Justin Parsley and Rob Slater, you can do that here on the links below: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Parsley's. Rob Slater's on Instagram, XCW Essential One. Make sure you support them. Also, make sure you support XCW here below YouTube, where you can watch Overcome, Rundown, All Access, No False Finish. You can watch all the great shows that XCW has to offer. A number of them, by the way, that the real ones are on it. XCW Shelbyville, XC Wrestling 1 on Twitter, Facebook, XCW Shelbyville. Also the XCW website, where you can buy a Real One shirt, where you can buy those shirts there from the Real Ones. And make sure you buy it. Go to the XCW Shop Zone store, and there you go. Listen, they know what's best for business. They know it certainly helps. And also XCW All Access, where you can see a number of different things related to XCW, kind of bonus stuff. And we're looking forward to the end of the season here, final chapter, the Viewers' Choice Awards, all great stuff here coming up in the next few weeks. We'll be happy to talk about that here on Sportswire Radio. My name, again, is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling here, and also the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio. And if you like what you hear from us, you can always check us out in many past and present XCW shows. Check us out here on Sportswire Radio 6579 Backspace Streams. Again, cheap plug for the new website. We have a new website. If you have a podcast out there, you have live music you want to hear on Sportswire, I can let you have it here free of charge at sportswireradio.org. If you want to watch us now, you don't want to see my mutton chops, you don't want to see the facial hair, all you have to do is click on the Listen Live button. Well, he doesn't have it like me, but the Listen Live button on sportswireradio.org. Also, if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can do it right there directly through sportswireradio.org. And again, we are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. We have about 15 or so different podcasts. We have a brand new show coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern time. It'll be the Wrestling with the Truth podcast from BC Hunter. BC will be talking about the Raw and Nitro wars from the Monday night era, way back in the day in the time machine, before some of the guys were probably even born in XCW, but that's here in North. But I will get to my first of a few announcements. I'll be on the air Tuesday at 11 o'clock with ROEW's Jason Storm. The wild card Jason Storm is live here on Sportswire Radio. He makes his return. He's going to talk about the anniversary that ROEW has here. ROEW Backyard Wrestling on YouTube and Instagram. Make sure you support them. The wild card is making his return. The wild card is going to talk about how he attacked one of his nemesis right now, Jacob Collins, who I think some people actually know in XCW very well. He actually attacked him in a church. They actually had a segment in a church, and we're going to talk about that here because just certainly Jacob Collins had to say his prayers after the wild card Jason Storm did a number. I thought it was funny. And he's going to talk about that here with us 11 o'clock Eastern time. Monday, I'll be here 9 o'clock Eastern time with the Painmaker, Joshua Allen of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Some would say a competitor of XCW's, and we'll hear about this competitor's company, TBW, with the Painmaker, Joshua Allen. So you'll definitely not want to miss that one. It'll be 9 o'clock Eastern time. So 9 o'clock's Joshua Allen Monday. Tuesday night, 11 o'clock Eastern time with our good buddy, the wild card Jason Smith. But right now, we are having a great time with our reigning, defending XCW tag team champions of the world, and they are the essential one, Rob Slater, and Mr. Parsley's himself, Justin Parsley. They are the real ones here, our XCW tag team champions here once again. All right, so, I always ask this question to people that come on the show, and I'm curious for you guys. I know, Justin, you've been on here before, but I'll give this to Rob because I'm sure Rob has watched the shows here on Sportswire because everybody tells me in some form or another they watch Sportswire, at least for the intros. But I always ask this question, and what are your goals here in XCW going forward? You got the tag team titles, but going forward in XCW, what other goals do you have?
Well, you see, another reason I came back to XCW.
Yeah.
Every year, Kurt Acid, may he rest in peace, would always tell me, hey, I voted for you for this year's Hall of Fame. You never got in. Next year, same thing. Next year, same thing. So, like you mentioned earlier, the Hall of Fame, well, I mean, that's the end goal. The end goal. So that I can make, Benji proud. That it say, hey, I finally made it, buddy. I'm right there with you. That's the end goal, but I think right now the main goal is to break that record of longest reigning XCW tag team champions.
Got to start. We have a start right now.
It's interesting because we had Eric Mason on. He's going through this process of 7 defenses in the New Age title. And you guys pretty much proclaimed here that you guys want to be the longest reigning XCW tag team champions. Is that extra motivation because of Kurt Acid, Benji, because of the relationship that you had with him? I mean, talk to me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of it. And it goes back to the prestige. So Justin Prestige is Parsley's and Robbie, the Essential One Slater here, are, we're looking to hold the tag titles and take on every newcomer, old comer, recomer. I don't care. Yeah.
People all over the world. All they gotta do is get a hold of Fletch and say, "Hey, I wanna face the real ones." Foundation. If they ever decide to show up, well, we'll take them on too.
But I thought, whoa! But I thought you guys were the foundation of XCW.
Yeah, okay.
Of XCW, for sure.
Self-proclaimed foundation.
But you said these IMF guys, they have a foundation too?
They do have a foundation, and they've been in different places. We've seen them in places like Michigan. We mentioned ROEW. We've seen them in Wisconsin with kind of like a minor league company called WCE. They're almost kind of like, how can I put it? Like you guys might be like the major leagues. They might be like rookie ball almost, if it makes sense for the baseball fans on sports. I mean, we love the company, but there's obviously XCW is the gold standard. XCW is where the big boys play, right? But the IMF, they've been in a number of different places. In fact, they even are going to put their foothold coming up here in the Northeast in Connecticut with a company called the TF Crew. So you've obviously heard of the IMF. You've obviously heard of the foundation. So you're well aware of what they bring to the table. But in XCW, you guys are kind of the foundation right now, no?
Yeah. Like you said, we are the foundation of XCW when it comes to the tag division. And if the foundation wants to go against the foundation, one of them's going to crumble.
Well, I mean, let me ask you a side question here in a second. I know I'm going to get comments here. I know this is going to turn up the heat a little bit here, and we'll see if that's best for business. I'll certainly let people and the viewers decide that. But, how do you feel, though, about let's say, different companies or different wrestlers, and they say, I want to go here and I want to put my foot and put my foothold in places like XCW. XCW has been this company, right? It's been around for 20 years. You talked about the relationships, whether it's for good or bad, with Fletch, Chris Jones. We talked about Kurt Acid, Corey Lee, your cousin. I mean, we can go down the list of people that have been here in Venom. I cannot forget about Venom. It's a long list of people in XCW that have been, even guys like Brogan O'Shea who've been here a while. ACT now, our champion's been here for a while. Hayden Bex, James Cerebral, another guy. But the point is that XCW is almost, to me, I always look at it like a mom and pop American dream story. It's a story where it was started from the ground up and kept going out there, plugging along, worked its way up from the days on Wrestling on the Ground, the mattresses, the trampoline, to now we're in venues and we have this footage. We have all this content out there. And XCW's been here since the first term of George Bush as a president of the United States. That's how long XCW's been. We have people here probably at XCW or in these other companies that weren't even born when XCW was here. I'm being dead serious for a second.
Right.
I'm not trying to. And how do you feel, though, about that? Because you guys, in a way, have seen this company, whether you were in it or not, have grown. And these kind of Johnny-come-latelys, these new kids on the block, or these amateurs in different places, like in Wisconsin, for example, they say they're the best. They're the gold standard. They're the symbol of excellence. But it's really XCW that's been here, and these places and these companies probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for XCW.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think, if you want to watch how to do it, just, take a look at Fletch, right? It's simple enough, right? If you want a how-to of how to do this.
Even look at the company in Tennessee, right? They basically, and they're going to come on here Monday, an Atomic Titan, he's the hardcore champion and he messages me 1,000 times a day, right? Great. Right. But the fact of the matter is they're basically writing SmackDown, AEW, WWE, Raw, Bloodline storylines, and that's their company. Right. But XCW is original. XCW was born out of someone's dream in Joshua Fletcher. That's his real name, Joshua Fletcher. It was born from his mind. I know you've had a lot of issues with him. You've had issues with him. But the facts of the matter is that this was a company that was kind of original. It was out of the box. Nobody thought or could do what XCW has done. And there are companies that basically decide, hey, I'm going to write and basically imitate what I see on WWE TV, and that's going to be my company. Or other guys in another state, I'm going to be the Backyard Nightmare. I'm going to be a champion for 6,000 days, and that's going to be my storyline. And then there's other people from other places who come here to XCW. We had a guy here who's basically kind of like the Johnny Cash of backyard wrestling, who was here at the Halloween Harvest show, Jack Delta. But he came to XCW. So the point is that we see everybody that if it wasn't for XCW, they wouldn't be anybody.
Yeah. Fletch has done he's done a good job of running the business. Him and his creative mind, when it comes to, the storylines, he's done a good job of it, and I guess that's why everybody comes here to, try and pick his brain per se, or because they know, hey, like.
But how does that make you guys feel? Because in a way, doesn't it say, that they come here, but do they want to be here? Or is it another stop on the road? We've had some people come on here in Sportswire. One guy who said he was going to go and try out for WWE, and he was an indie champion, and he didn't last in XCW. Jack Delta's been up and down here. Aaron Blaze, who started to make his mark at XCW, he's another traveler. Jackson Law is a traveler. But, do the people come here as a destination on a road to somewhere else? Or, what do you make of that, though?
I've seen a lot of guys land here as this being their home base. Maybe they are the travelers, like you said, the Jackson Law and the Aaron Blaze, but now they're, mainstay.
Yes. Well, Jackson and Aaron Blaze, I think, have found a home here. And I think that they've shown that they belong in XCW, and this is where they're cutting their teeth. I agree with you.
But that's Aaron Blaze living 2 states away or whatever, in addition. Yeah. So he's got his heart and blood into it. And so I think it is a big deal. I think that people want to, I wanted to come back. I never thought I wanted to wrestle again. Rob Slater wanted to come back. Chris Jones is back. So I think that there's something special going on in XCW, something that everybody wants to be a part of whenever they get a taste of it.
No question about it, and that's why we love everything here about XCW. And I was wondering here, as we come into kind of the second part of the interview here, and is there anything that you may want to say in particular to Julian Void Jacobs and Mitchell Maverick before we see you guys in the ring at Final Chapter? I always ask this. Is there anything or any final words in particular that you want to say to these gentlemen?
I want to say stay away from Mandy, and then the rest of it I just want to say with this. Oh.
That was different. That was different.
Yeah.
That was different.
Yeah.
You want to say anything else to that, Rob?
I mean, I don't necessarily, have history, with them, like, unfortunately Justin does, the whole Mandy incident, but I mean, they step in the ring with us. We'll see who comes out victorious, and I mean, hopefully one day that they can join the EBW and be,
hopeful. He's hopeful for it.
I'm hopeful that maybe
they got to at least get the shirt right. The right
I'm
shirt.
Hopeful maybe one day these rejects will get into
EBW. Or the upper EBW management will reject their applications.
Well, I mean, I would think that Chris Jones would have already had the application by now. You think he would have had the application? I would think he would have been able to look it over because something tells me he can see.
Chris Jones has went after all these different people. Let me turn the tables and ask you a question. Why did
Ask
Chris
me
Jones?
1,000 questions. All right.
Why has Chris Jones not come after the XCW tag team champ? Like he doesn't want us in EBW. We're not good enough for EBW because that's a joke. So what is that? He doesn't want to fight us either. What's the deal? Why is Chris Jones?
Well, all right. So I'm going to answer this here. You know what? Because I always come prepared because that's always my background. So here's my answer to that. Well, maybe it's because he knows with Miano Diaz, right? He can get him to do his dirty work, right? James Cerebral, right? Basically, yeah, sure, he's the hardcore champion, but if you look at James Cerebral, I mean, isn't he kind of like the EBW lackey? I mean, isn't he basically like, how can I put it, almost like yes, he's been EBW through and through, but hasn't he in a way kind of almost like been the henchman that almost like he's kind of like the foil? Yeah. Okay, Brady Branson, not taking anything away from Brady Branson. He is certainly the size, the muscle. He's really, to me, the focal point. Then you've got Hayden Vex. Okay, fine. But maybe it's because, and I'm going to throw it out there, maybe it's because Chris Jones knows with you guys think for yourselves. You guys are very independent. You guys kind of beat to your own drum, and maybe he's looking for people that will almost be kind of, I guess, who he can use and abuse and kind of do what he wants and manipulate. You guys can't be manipulated. There's no way on earth that's going to happen.
No, I mean, like it was stated earlier, we are the foundation of XCW. And I mean, we have been on a hot streak. Maybe if Chris came to us and had us join EBW, they'd go right back to the top where they were when they first came. Maybe they would.
I'll even ask the question. I mean, Aaron Blaze rejected them, and Aaron Blaze has had a lot of success recently. I mean, what do you guys even want to join EBW right now? Because EBW right now, they've kind of hit almost a fork in the road because, again, they lost the world title. They lost the EBW title. Sure, they got the hardcore title, but the facts are is that EBW is not as dominant when we had Chris Jones on. When Chris Jones was on here, EBW was at the top of the mountain. Now EBW's hit this fork on the road. We're going into the end of the season right now. It's kind of like sink or swim for them right now.
Yeah.
Would we want to join EBW? I don't know. Like I said, I mean, we're not forced with that decision. They haven't came to us and asked us. We haven't really put much thought into it. I don't think I would join EBW, but
I don't see you guys. Listen, I'm here again with Justin Parsley and Rob Slater, who are our reigning defending XCW Tag Team Champions here for a little while longer. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce here, and of course, we're on Sportswire Radio. And again, if you want to check us out anytime, sportswireradio.org. You guys though aren't group guys. I don't see you guys as standing there taking marching orders. Think about it, right? Julian Void Jacobs and Mitchell Maverick basically want to take marching orders. They want to basically be almost like foot soldiers. They don't want to be people that'll lead. You guys are leaders, not followers. You guys bang to your own drum. I don't see you guys taking marching orders from Chris Jones and Luke Blaze. Am I missing something here?
No, you're absolutely right. I couldn't. I don't know, but
and you know, you both know Chris Jones for a long time.
I think you're getting inside of Rob's head. Like I've never even heard him think about joining EBW. So
we went out live on Sportswire and talked about it, and we basically broke, I guess, the fourth wall yet again. And I think that I don't really see in watching XCW TV. I don't really see you guys as EBW basically kind of hopefuls or rejects, as you want to call your opponents at Final Chapter. I don't see you guys in that lane. I don't see you guys as followers. I don't see it.
No, I mean, like I said earlier, me and Chris, we have history. You know, he beat me at Summer Mania 2.
Yep.
You know, Iron Man match, and I mean that might be a reason why. You know, main reason why I say no to joining EBW. I mean, like I said, I'm still waiting.
We asked Corey Lee. Corey Lee was in the same boat as you guys were. And Corey Lee's like, I've been there, done that. I'm the one that basically killed off EBW. I'm not aligned with XCW. I'm banging to my own drum. I mean, and Corey Lee's your cousin, so you would know better than anybody. So, I mean, ultimately, you know, I kind of feel like that you guys are in the same boat, more or less.
Yeah, I think so. Which I think always falls into being XCW loyal. If you had to label it, going back to labels, people love labels. Are you XCW or EBW? If we're not EBW, then you're XCW, right?
Well, I guess technically you would be XCW because you hold the XCW belts, but I don't necessarily say I would put you guys in the same category as ACT or Jay Ellis or Brogan O'Shea, where Brogan's been very vocal, and he was here with us. So Eric Mason, for example, our more recent guest on Sportswire, that have been very vocal about standing up for XCW. You know, but before I get to a couple of different announcements toward the end of the show, you know, speaking of XCW and kind of management, you know, we kind of hinted at him a few different times. That is Mr. Josh Fletcher himself, Mr. Fletcher. Now, I'm curious on how do you guys feel he's kind of led things here? Because, you know, a lot of people have felt that he's dropped the ball and let EBW kind of run it. I even had it here with Brogan O'Shea. I don't know if you caught this or not, but I asked Brogan O'Shea, do you think in a crazy, underhanded way that maybe Fletch wants EBW here because it's always about ratings? You know, he's looking at what's going on in Tennessee. He's looking at what's going on in Iowa. He's looking at what's going on in Michigan. He's looking at all these different places. And he said, or even in Maryland now, and he's looking and saying, you know what? I got to keep up. I got to win the ratings. I got to have the most ratings. I got to have the most subscribers. And maybe just like you coming back, EBW is what he feels the doctor orders XCW. You know, how do you feel about Joshua Fletcher and kind of how he's leading things right now in the company?
He's got a lot going on. I mean, he had his kid attacked, and he has Jason Kelty, you know, breathing down his neck.
His wife was attacked too. Yep.
Yeah, he just had probably his hand just in too many different pots. I mean, he just can't deal with it all. So, you know, I think it makes him look, makes it kind of look like disorganized chaos, which that's a familiar terminology here between us. But I think he'll pull through. I think he's loyal. I think that he bleeds XCW. I mean, 100%. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. He needs to get his head on straight and get his butt back in the game. But I don't know. What do you think, man?
I mean, he's one man. I mean, if they come after him and they take him out, what now? They take over, right? So, I mean, these XCW guys, like you were talking about, how people coming into XCW, you know, just stop for them before they go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's weird right now. You know, it's weird because in XCW, you've seen these guys over the past year or two, these different, I guess you want to say yards, although to me, XCW is not really a backyard wrestling company. But if we're going to really kick the ballistics here and be straight to the point, I mean, there are people that have come into XCW and have come in here as pit stops on the road to somewhere else. And, you know, maybe it's done because at the time it's best for business. We want to boost up ratings, drum up social media. And then conversely, at the same time, you have EBW. And EBW's returned. It's come back to life. And maybe EBW, again, is to boost the views. I mean, look at the views with you guys on and EBW simultaneously. Viewership is up until the most recent show. I'm going to really, again, break the fourth wall on Sportswire. Break the wall. Viewership since EBW has returned is up. We're getting what, 600, 700, 500 plus shows now on XCW premium events? What were we getting before that? The number was less. So maybe this is all about that Fletch is looking at the ratings and it's frustrating to him. And he's bringing these guys in from outside places. And it goes back to these guys in Iowa.
I mean, is it EBW that's getting the ratings up? I mean, once EBW came back, what happened shortly after? The real ones were formed. Is it EBW getting the ratings up, or is it the real ones getting the ratings up?
If you ask Chris Jones, he says it's Chris Jones who's got the ratings. He was here with us. Chris Jones said here on Sportswire, he's the one that single-handedly is helping XCW back, and he wants to kill them at the same time.
He might help a little bit, but you can't be a pillar. You can't be one of the 4 pillars of XCW if you're EBW. Is that right? I mean,
listen, I don't argue that. Not at all. Don't disagree. Fair play.
So I don't know who's holding the other 2 pillars all the time, but they're kind of getting heavy. And Rob and I are happy to be here and defend XCW. We are the foundation of the company, and that's where you.
I think that's been established. You guys have a foundation together of a long relationship for 20 years. You guys are the foundation in XCW. You guys are the standard bearer right now. We think about all these different tag teams, all these different wrestlers in the division, right? But when we think about it, who is the standard bearer? Who is the measuring stick? Who is the foundation? It's the real ones. It's the essential one, Rob Slater. It's Parsley's, the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley. You guys are the foundation. And some would even say you guys are the foundation in this entire sport right now. So, that's something. If
anybody like Omen or Soulja were people like that were to disagree and they ever made their way through in Indiana as one of their stops being XCW,
stop on their road.
If XCW was a stop on the road, just a dot on the map, then they know where to find us.
Now, that's an interesting point that you make. Now, help me out with geographics because I'm not very smart. I'm not very intelligent in a lot of things. I'm clearly an idiot. Trust me on that. But, I understand, from my understanding, Indiana and Iowa are both in the Midwest. I mean, there can actually be a drive, right? That could actually be feasible, right? Between Indiana and Iowa. You think it's feasible, right? That maybe somebody from Iowa can travel via car transportation into the state of Indiana. Is that feasible, you think?
I think that's feasible, but I would think that if 2 people like that did it, they would wish they were lost.
Yeah.
Instead.
So would you be saying then, so we've established that somebody or multiple people, right, from Iowa could travel into the state of Indiana? Because as far as we know that the Jack Johnson Act is over, that Congress basically eliminated that years ago. That was the old line when he was the boxing champion. He couldn't fight in another state, and that's a different discussion for different. That was my days in law class, but that's here nor there because obviously I'm not a lawyer anymore. Never was. But the point is, I thought it was funny. I'm working on my stand-up these days. But the point is that these guys can communicate and they can travel into the state of Indiana from Iowa. So would you is there anything that you might want to address? Because these guys, obviously, right, they're here with us, right? They're here in the chat, and they've obviously tried to cut their teeth and make their mark in different places. Like I said, Wisconsin, kind of like the minor league, kind of like the kiddie park almost of wrestling companies in the backyard. Michigan, Connecticut, they're now going into. They've certainly looked to leave a footprint, and they look to make an example of these different places. So since you guys are the foundation in XCW, do you think maybe you want to say anything to these guys, particularly because we know that they're watching in the stream, and we know that Mr. Fletcher certainly knows what's best for business, I'm sure. Anything you want to say to that?
I mean, they like you stated, they've made their mark in these different federations, but going back to your words, XCW is the gold standard.
Yes, sir.
They've never stepped foot in XCW. They've stopped at all the minor leagues. They want to step in. They want to come to the major leagues. All right.
But making their mark and cutting their teeth. Cutting teeth is for babies and puppies, and We're full-grown adult
So
dogs.
do you think, though, then, before I cut to the chase here, do you think that in those places like Wisconsin, where the champion there was basically trying his best Roman Reigns imitation that basically didn't work, and then in Michigan, where maybe we've seen some talent in XCW go over and they've tried to cross into the Mason-Dixon line in places like Maryland and Connecticut, but certainly it's not the major leagues. It's not where the big boys play. It's not the gold standard, the symbol of excellence like it is in XCW. Is that basically what you're saying? And basically,
if they want to make a name for themselves or prove something, then all right, we invite you to come on your little drive through Indiana. Come to XCW.
Yeah, stop worrying about these little kiddie pools. Come to the Adult Swim
and
in the deep end with us.
Wait.
Real challenge.
Now, you just said something. You mentioned the word real, and you mentioned driving in. Are you guys saying here, for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio, as the foundation of XCW and as the foundation of this sport, are you saying, gentlemen, that you would like to see the foundation and the IMF maybe make their way to see if they can cut the mustard in XCW against, I don't know, maybe you guys?
Yeah.
I think the real
ones, they can cut it in the majors.
Yeah, the real ones versus the foundation. That's a headliner. I was talking about us main eventing. That's borderline.
I would think if you guys are the reigning defending tag team champions, arguably the tag team of the year, when the Viewers' Choice Awards come out, I would obviously think that would be a very worthy main event on your side, and certainly the foundation are a well-traveled group. Like them or not, they have almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. They even had a podcast out there last week where they were talking about wrestlers in different companies, kind of a company like yours in Maryland over the Mason-Dixon line. They were basically talking about that they come to places, they came, they saw, they go, and they conquer. So I would think that would be a main event because I think about social media. I think about viewership. I think about what the people want, what would sell tickets, what would drive up influence. I think that would be a main event, actually, between the Foundation's Omen Black and Soldier GP against the Essential One, Rob Slater, and the first real wrestler, Parsley's Justin Parsley. And I would think that if somebody was out there in XCW, whether it was Venom, whether it's shooting here from the hip, Mr. Joshua Fletcher, I would think that would be a pretty worthy main event. And I think that it should be the main event.
I mean, Fletch wants ratings. Book it.
I think it puts some butts in some seats.
And I think XCW could use those seats because obviously, again, Mr. Fletcher's worried about these places like Wisconsin, who have the amateur go-kart leagues, Tennessee, which is basically doing their knockoff of last year's WWE storylines. Michigan's knocking on the door. Maryland's got their own thing going on. Even Connecticut. I mean, we can go up and down the list of companies. There's even this thing called this Backyard Wrestling Nexus, where these guys go out there and look like they're on Fisher-Price training pads, and they go out there and try to wrestle, and they're even trying to knock off the block of Joshua Fletcher and his company, the company that he's created here. Now, gentlemen, I wasn't going to do this, but apparently I'm going to go straight to the point here. Omen Black says he wants to talk to you. Do you want to talk to him for a few minutes, or would you think Mr. Fletcher would be okay with that? Because obviously it's his company. We don't want to do anything that would certainly drive down the viewership or certainly hurt the company. And I know we've got Julian Boyd Jacobs and Mitchell Maverick, but they're basically apples and oranges compared to what the big leaguers might want to hear. Now,
no, I mean, all in all, it's your show, right? He wants to call in and talk.
It's Omen's show last.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, really, if we think it's best for business, we could give him 2 minutes, not 25. If he wants to say something here in 2 minutes, and maybe to hear if he wants to accept this match. I mean, maybe,
bring Omen on Omen's show.
Maybe he would say, you know what, XCW is not WCE, it's not TBW, it's not ROEW. Maybe
God.
he would want
Thank
to.
God.
I agree with you on that. Thank God it's not TBW. Thank God it's not WC. ROEW does some work with XCW. I think that they do a good job. I want to give them at least a rub. But those two other companies, sure. But you know what? I'm going to give the guys 2 minutes. I'm going to give them an opportunity to say if they want to accept or not accept. If that's okay with you guys, I'll actually give them the opportunity here live on Sportswire Radio because I'm in a giving mood. I'm a generous man. Thanksgiving is coming. We want to certainly be charitable. We want to make sure that people get a chance to speak, and we want to give the ratings what they want. And I'm going to bring these guys on right now. In fact, I just sent an email to the IMF's email. So if the guys want to accept that, they can do that. And we'll see if they want to come on here. Very quickly here before the guys come on, was it hell that froze over, Justin Parsley, when Joshua Fletcher gave you credit for a sponsorship at the Halloween Harvest post conference? I mean, what did you kind of think about that? You could see he was grinning there, basically saying thank you to Justin Parsley for Kendall's Tavern, giving us here a sponsor. That had to feel real good there, that your longtime nemesis there, Josh Fletcher, the man you defeated at Summer Mania, had to give you a credit there for continuing to help XCW even outside the ring.
Yeah, but I live for and love that kind of stuff anyway. I'd made chili for a couple of shows before that too. So, but yeah, having Kindles attached to it, like the bar, like the oldest bar in this town.
And I would dare say one of the best bars in the entire country. One of the best bars in this country, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have the best employees. The best.
Absolutely. And I would say the best DJs too.
I think so. I think you're onto something here. Yeah.
You know what? I've been told that in my life. But you know what, gentlemen? I'm going to kick the ballistics here. I'm going to go straight to the point here. And apparently, Omen Black and Soldier GP will talk to you for a couple of minutes, and they have something to say. And fellas,
there we go. It's about time we come back on Sportswire. Woo! Woo!
Well, listen, I saw you guys on, what was the guy's show? Vanderwolf? Yeah, it was like the minor leagues. Back.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about, what? If I had $1 for every time you guys said foundation, I would get the total amount what EBW is worth.
Just cover it?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a little too much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Now, did I hear right, Soldier? They want to challenge us?
Yeah, they challenged us.
You want to challenge the best tag team in all of wrestling.
See, boys, you're the foundation of the XCW, but yeah, we're the foundation of all wrestling
in general.
Is that a self-proclamation, or have you been given?
It's been proven.
It's been proven.
But you know what? Congratulations, boys. You guys will make it finally in the main event. Anywhere the foundation goes, we're main events. So, congrats, boys. You earned it. Now, when December comes, we're going to show you guys why you guys don't belong in the main event.
We don't even want your belts. We just want to whip your ass. That's all.
Well, you know where to find us. I know you've heard that a couple of times.
5.5 hours away. That's just a little drive.
Hey, when you come to XCW, welcome to the majors.
The gold standards.
The gold standards. It sounds like the gold standard anywhere the foundation goes. So again, you're welcome.
You're saying welcome to the big leagues, but you're the one challenging us.
Well, thank you for accepting our challenge, boys, and we'll see you in December then, won't we?
You for sure will.
And I'm going to break it here.
Safe travel.
And before you do anything else, I'm going to break it here on Sportswire. These guys and a slew of stars are going to be back December the 1st live on Sportswire Radio to talk about their first show indoors called Winter Blast, which is going to take place December the 16th. The guys are going to be here live, and they're going to talk about who knows what else is on their mind. And they're going to be here live and in living color. And I'm sure that a number of people will be tuned into that one because that'll be far more epic when they were last on, what was the guy's show, Vanderbeek or Vanderwolf, whatever it was, Dawson's Creek, the guy with the mask. You're coming back.
I don't want to be that guy, that Strickler, but since it's my show, I feel like I'm obligated to be that. It's Winter Clash, not Winter Blast, Blash, whatever you said. It's Winter Clash.
Well, I actually do apologize on that.
It's fine, Tom. That's why I pay you. That's why I love you on my show.
But that'll be December 1st, though. Winter Clash. The guys will be here with us December 1st. So it'll be 13 days from today. So 13 days from now, we're going to see a slew of stars from the IMF and elsewhere. They're going to be on this card coming up. Winter Clash. It'll be the IMF's first ever indoor show, the first of many. These guys, I'm telling you, are going to put on a show. We're going to talk about it here and some. So there you have it. So it's accepted. We're going to see this match at some point.
Oh, it's for sure accepted.
But
and you
we
think
beat you guys, and we trust me, we will beat you guys. Mm-hmm. We want a shot at those titles that you have, that you claim that you're the greatest tag team of the year, greatest tag team of all time, whatever. We want a shot at those belts after we beat you.
You know what? You want to know why? Because we're gentlemen. We're all gentlemen of the sport. We believe we have to earn that shot. We don't want it handed out to us. No.
We're gonna take it.
We want to beat you guys first to earn the shot. Now, do you guys accept that stipulation?
I think if we could just gung-ho and come out and guns a-blazing, I think I would say yes, but we'll have to talk to management, I have a feeling. But
fair enough.
If it was up to us, it's on.
Well, it might be what's best for business. Certainly, Mr. Fletcher, if he's out there breaking the fourth wall, and obviously viewership is one thing, and this is what the people would want. And I'm going to add and put my cap to it here. This should be the main event. If there's going to be a match, and we know it's going to happen real soon between these tag teams, it should obviously be the main event based on reactions, social media, viewership, experience, championships. This is the main event whenever this will take place. So I guess challenge accepted. And anything you want to say, Omen, further on your show before we see you next on December the 1st, or anything else from Soldiers, your mind that you want to say for us here?
No, I'm trying to think. I can't think anything of it. Can't think anything else except for, Winter Clash, December 16th, going to XCW to challenge the XCW tag. Okay. The tag team champions, I guess.
The real ones.
That's what it says. You guys can't spell real right. But anyways.
That's an alternative.
That's the point. That's the point, buddy.
Well,
I don't know how they do schooling in Indiana, but real.
Well, we have homophones. We do have homophones in Indiana, so sometimes words sound alike, but they're spelled differently.
You're telling us, you're going ahead and saying, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, you see, when we put you on those reels, you're welcome.
I have breaking news. Gentlemen, I actually have breaking news. Apparently, somebody is listening out there because management from XCW has heard what we've all said tonight. And let me pull up this comment here from XCW because you'll certainly want to see it. Breaking news. The Foundation versus the Real Ones. XCW encounters episode 1 main event. You have heard it here first live on Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. It is going to happen. The Foundations, Omen Black, Soldier GP, against the Real Ones, the Essential One, Rob Slater, and the first real Parsley's, Justin Parsley. Main event, XCW Encounters, episode 1, and you can watch that on XCW Shelbyville on YouTube. That's where you can watch all XCW content. You've heard it here first live, and it is going to happen. The people have spoke. Management has heard it, and the wrestlers have spoke, and it's been heard loud and clear. There you have it. Main event is coming up real soon. Foundation versus the Real Ones. There you have it.
Hey, safe travels, boys.
You know what? You're welcome for being relevant one more time.
You're coming to the major league.
Like I said, you're welcome for being relevant one more time.
Safe to say that this trip from a company outside of XCW's will certainly land a lot more success than another guy that said he was getting a tryout in WWE, or another guy that was supposed to be the Johnny Cash of backyard wrestling. Yeah, I'll leave those names out there, but safe to say that when it comes to business and when it comes to the people, what they want, these guys coming in will have far more success than those guys did in XCW. Gentlemen, we look forward to seeing you next in 13 days from now live on your show. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to promoting Winter Clash, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon, boys. See you real soon.
If you're not down with that, then you are
Stupid.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, there you have it. The foundation have accepted. Did you get what you wanted? And it looks like it's going to happen here first for match before we close out the show.
Yeah, I mean,
And what they think they want too. So yeah.
Okay, so you know what? We're going to get a chance to see it here. All right, so you know what? Then obviously, that is certainly the announcement. We want everybody to go check out and support XCW here on the links below. Also, you can watch us here live. We will be back with the foundation and a slew of IMF stars here coming up on December the 1st. And I have a feeling that you'll be tuned in as well, gentlemen. But, you know, as we come up here to the end of the show, and obviously we're going to bring you back on, Mr. Parsley. We're going to bring you back on, Mr. Slater, because we're inducting you into the Hall of Fame. So we'll have to figure out a day in December to bring you both on for the ceremony. Maybe you'll win an award, also Tag Team of the Year, the real ones. That way we can actually do two birds with one stone. But, you know, for both of you, there you go. For both of you guys here, is there anything that you want to say to the XCW Galaxy that they should look forward to seeing coming up here before the season? Is there anything that you guys want to say to the XCW Galaxy out there?
I mean, one thing I want to say is, yeah, I mean, you could call us, you know, the foundation of XCW, but there's a lot of guys in this business, a lot of up and comers who have that it factor. So, I mean, when you tune in and you watch for them also.
Watch for them mostly. Like,
yeah,
you know, we're background noise. I mean, we appreciate the endorsements and we love that we have fans and stuff.
You're in the main event. You ain't background noise no more.
Hey, it's an honor to be in the main event, but you know, like he's saying, hey, it's XCW. Like we're a family. You watch one, you watch us all. Like,
yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fair. Let me ask you. I asked Justin this question when he was on the show. And I'll ask it to you, Rob, before I get to the final things here of the show. And again, want everybody to support the real ones and everybody in XCW in the links below. But Rob Slater, is there anybody that you haven't got a chance to work with yet in XCW that you would like to?
I mean, there's a lot of guys. Like there's a lot. I mean, you could put, you know, Corey Lee on that list. You can put Fletch on that list. Hunter Houken on that list. Eric Mason. Like there's a lot of guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
you're right.
I mean, just there's a lot, and one guy
Leon
that
Lux.
I would like to work with. Yeah, I mean Leon Lux.
Leon Lux right now is on a run. I mean, you want to talk about guys that are dangerous and deadly right now.
Yep, he is.
His talent is. I mean,
he's amazing in the ring.
Yeah.
He is, and I mean, one guy that I'd like to work with if we were to no longer be a team and do our own thing. I've never had the opportunity to work with Fletch. I'd like to, you know, Fletch he's probably at the top of that list because I mean he's the creator, right? And ultimately that's the goal. You want the creator. So
he's the mastermind, right? He's the guy that really, if you think about it, he's the guy that's responsible for all these yarders, right? I mean, Fletch in a way, isn't Fletch kind of like how Eddie Van Halen was in guitar? I mean, basically, Eddie Van Halen inspired all these guitarists. And, you know, we think about Josh Fletcher. I mean, Josh Fletcher inspired all these people because of what he's done. His intensity, his drive, his dedication has basically put everybody else to have that opportunity because for 20 years, he's continued. Just saying, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But, you know, obviously we're coming to the end of the show here, and I could talk with you guys all day. There's a lot more I could talk about, but I know we're going to have you guys on here for the formal induction, the last shows here in XCW. So we're going to bring you back on here one more time before the years. That I am very much grateful for the time that you've given up here. So, you know what? I want to give you guys both closing thoughts. I'm going to go with you, Rob Slater, first, the essential one. I want to give you any closing thoughts, Rob, any social media that you'd like to plug. I'll plug it here anyway in case, but is there anything else that you want to say? And it's certainly been a tremendous honor and a lively interview tonight, to say the least, that we've had here with you on Sportzwire Radio. We're looking forward to more appearances here, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys and the foundation and the IMF have to offer here. So, Rob, I turn it over to you. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And the floor is yours.
I mean, I appreciate, the privilege to come on your show and, share it with my partner here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, congratulations
on the Hall of Fame.
On the Hall of Fame, the Sportzwire Hall of Fame.
Second person, by the way. The first one I inducted was Bentley, who's got 2 world titles in the UK. So I wanted to at least make it big. So this was
good company. Yeah.
Very good company. Bentley's a great guy.
I mean, just continue to tune in. You never know, what's going to happen. XCW, Winter Clash. They got, show coming up.
I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
I'm sure I'll tune in. Yeah, I mean, I hear that IMF's got a show. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But I know XCW's got a couple of big shows coming up. We have one next week, I believe. We have one next Monday.
Final chapter facing the EBW Rejects. Yep.
I'm sorry that it's.
We got a couple of shows too. We got Fighter. You got Fighter Feast coming. I know. I die every time he says it.
Tune into Fighter Feast.
I think you guys have said it like 3 or 4 times on XCW TV already. So it was almost like going back, and I was like, oh, they did say it that many times.
Yeah, I mean, be sure to tune in next week. Fighter Feast XCW show.
Yes.
They got the. Can't remember the exact name of the show, but we got a Christmas show coming up.
Christmas Chaos or something like that.
Yeah. We got a New Year's show coming up. I mean, we got a lot of content that's going to be put out there. So, I mean, be sure to tune in.
Listen, XCW has more content than WWE has to. Listen, Fletch has probably got more hours of XCW footage than there is WWE footage. Because I'm telling you, he's got footage from like probably 40, 50 years worth to your equivalent of. In the 20 years, he's got that much footage. So I have no doubt that we'll be seeing you guys a lot upcoming for sure. And especially in Encounters Episode 1 main event against Omen Black Soldier GP. Very, very excited about that here. But Justin Parsley, you are no stranger to this. You have done this here before, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. I'm going to give you your closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say. And the floor is most certainly yours. And fire.
Oh, well, thank you for having us on again. Thank you for letting me bring my buddy and my tag team partner on with me. Thank you for the Hall of Fame endorsement.
Sure.
The endorsements completely on the VCAs. And I would say just keep tuning in. If you like the product, even if there's just a little bit of the product you like. We have reels, we have shorts, we have a lot of different things out there as far as XCW goes. So just share the content. Share your favorites. It's probably Rob Slater. It could be Justin Parsley. We have a lot of really good. We do have a lot of really good options at XCW. So share, like, and subscribe, and keep checking us out. Keep supporting us.
Yeah, make sure you get those votes in. Viewers' Choice
Yes,
Award.
you got to vote. You know what? You got to vote, and that's why I made sure I voted on Thursday because. Actually, little known fact, I got a message. Well, Fletch messaged me Wednesday, and I'm at a radio show Wednesday night. So I'm like, I can't do it now. But the first thing I did before I go to sleep Thursday morning at 7, 8 o'clock, I voted. I was like, I got to vote.
Gotta get to the polls, yeah.
I got to get it because if I don't do it now, I'll completely forget. Because my schedule, I always tell people I'll blank out and never do it. So I'm glad I did it. And I want to thank you. And I want everybody to follow you guys. First of all, Justin, you can follow on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Parsley's. Rob Slater on Instagram at XCW_Essential1. XCW, one more time. Please follow and support XCW here in the links below. YouTube, where you can watch Encounters and all other great content. XCW Shelbyville, XCW All Access, XCW_Shelbyville on Instagram, XCW Wrestling 1 on Twitter, Facebook, XCW Shelbyville. And by the way, if you want to look up history at XCW, buy a shirt, buy a real one shirt. You can do that here at XCW Wrestling's Wix site page. And also, as always, support our page here at sportswireradio.org. And 2 more comments here. Mr. Black wants to say, you're welcome, boys. 20 minutes of relevancy will end quicker than it came when the foundation comes to XCW. Our buddy, Mr. Law, wants to say Friday nights at Kendall's is lit. Well, that's why Kendall's Tavern is the best tavern in the United States. And that's why if you haven't yet gone to Kendall's, you better go to Kendall's, because if you don't, you should never be allowed to step foot in XCW, period. I'm going to just put it to you that way. But
my boss is going to love this, by the way. I just want you to know that.
I'll take the clip and we'll use it. If we have to, I'll make a clip of it, whatever it might be. But just go to Kendall's. Look, even if you don't drink, just go to Kendall's. Just go there and you'll have a good time. Make sure you tip the waitresses. Make sure you tip the bartenders, the DJs. Just go out there and make sure you support Kendall's. Trust me. Trust me on this. Whatever you do, just make sure you support Kendall's. And also here, we want to be told that it's Clash on Christmas. Thank you, manager, for letting us know that. That's why I want everybody to go out there and watch it. And gentlemen, happy Thanksgiving. This is definitely going to be one I'm sure you'll remember for the ages. I'm looking forward to watching you guys upcoming, especially against Julian Void Jacobs and Mitchell Mavericks. And also, oh, by the way, encounters. Episode 1, Omen Black, Soldier GP, IMF's Foundation. I know you'll be tuned in when these guys are back on, and a slew of other stars on December the 1st. But congratulations on the Hall of Fame inductions. Thank you for all you guys do. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys on here very soon to talk about it. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your families as well. And we'll see you soon.
See you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our reigning, defending XCW Tag Team Champions of the world. They are the real ones, the essential one, Rob Slater. And the first real, Parsley's, Justin Parsley. And it was announced here that they'll be coming up here in Encounters, episode 1 against Omen Black and Soldier GP. And they'll also be challenged for their tag team titles against Mitchell Maverick and Julian Void Jacobs. Stay tuned for more details on the final chapter. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, the host of Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. And again, if you're on sportswireradio.org, you go back to your regularly scheduled programming here with the Wrestling with the Truth podcast hosted by BC Hunter. So that'll be on in about 5 minutes. But until then, I'll be back Monday night with, speaking of another company from Tennessee, the Painmaker, Joshua Allen, 9 o'clock. And then Tuesday, 11 o'clock here, coming up with Jason Storm, the wild card of OREW. So thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the #1 global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.